Hey, it's me. I'm gonna change up some of the what I'm gonna do on stream this time. So instead of working on a bunch of all these different fucking categories and stuff like that, I'm just gonna, I guess you'd say, do some cleanup or like do a little bit of pre-planning now. So this is basically the plan, right? I'm just kind of making what do you call, like a gray box kind of level as opposed to let me just be honest for a second, like uh, this demo level I made, with this guy. Like, I am sick and tired of looking at this. It's not very motivating to me, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but. And I also noticed, like, I don't really like how. Probably, wrong camera. You can kind of see how stretched out some of these textures look, right? Like, I'm not a fan of that, so I want to kind of, dial it back what I'm doing and just focus on just the bare bones templates. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know, maybe I'll texture them, maybe not, but just to get an idea of let me get rid of this little thing I was making here. I'll explain it better. Let me turn off that. I'll just take these rails and put them over here. So, like, what I'm getting at is I'm pretty much standardized. Like, these are, pillars that I made a couple streams back, but like, they snap. Like, they snap pretty well. And like in terms of modularity, like, this is, well, I'm not even this is what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, it. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is this stream is all gonna be just about getting my templates done. So, like, I need to do a proper block out, a proper kind of just gather my thoughts. You know what I mean? Instead of kind of just relentlessly bashing my head against a wall and trying to just make as many models as I can. And don't get me wrong, it was cool. I learned quite a bit, and I guess towards the end of it, I was learning like how to standardize the size and whatever. But all that's subject to change. So this stream is going to be just back to the basics. Keep in mind, it's number one, it's a modular pack, right? So things should snap to the grid. They should snap properly. And number two, it's dungeon themed. So again, not a whole lot of like these. Like this was a yeah, this was a bit of a bit off course in my opinion. Again, not a bad thing. I can reuse these models somewhere else. But one other thing, I was doing a bit of modeling like off stream. I learned something very very cool. So this brick texture, like this is a new brick that I did. And yeah, it wouldn't look like that, but basically what I'm saying is like, let me just delete these two pieces and I'll show you. By learning how to properly not even focused. By learning how to offset the bricks, like properly, I have created a modular asset piece. Like this is what I've been struggling for so long to try and nail down. And my thought process was I'll just make a bunch of models and worry about it later. No. I worry about it now. Then I move on to doing all those models. So I'm quite happy. I'm actually really happy. It connects both left and right. Kind of just snaps together seamlessly like that. And I did a little bit of extra work just to make them stick out a little bit. And this time I tried to texture them. I'll just show you real quick. Using my trim sheet. Right, and like, I'm actually like, I'll just give you a brief example. So if I go like that, select random. Okay, I just took these faces, and if I move them like up and down, then like obviously I have to line them up and rescale them, but it gives me the variety I'm looking for in my wall. The next thing I did, again with selecting random, right? If I just selected select random, and then I would I can't even remember at this point. I don't know. I was going like, just grabbing a bunch of these based on, I think it was based on normals, yeah. Yeah, anyway, what I'm saying is like, I just select a handful of bricks like that, bring them out as their own object, and then just slide them a little bit forward, a little bit back, kind of thing. And yeah, it's not the greatest. You know, the results aren't the best, but again, I've kind of realized instead of fighting with this so much, just go back to the basics, get a basic dungeon layout going, figure out, okay, this is what my template for the stairs is going to be. This is a template for the wall, or that was the floor. Sorry, template for the stairs. So I feel like this approach is probably going to help me out, actually get this thing, you know, done, and you know, and you know, make something cool with it. You know, because I'm still have like a lot of ideas for my little Astro Knight story, so I want to incorporate all these dungeon things into it. One other thing I wanted to mention, let me just re-delete those. So, oh, I can't even remember what the original was called. I must have deleted it. Whatever. I don't know. I called it Brick Wall A or something. So what I wanted to get at was, this is what like this is exactly. Let me just let me move this. Just move this guy. Move him away so it's not like distracting me. This is exactly what I've been working so hard towards. Like, I want these like bricks to just snap, to be modular. You know what I mean? And then I could take a different pillar type, so let's just say this one. So again, I'm just gonna copy and move it over, snap it, and then I'll just, you know, remove that piece. So, alright, it's better if I do it this way. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know there's a little bit of that, but that's, again, like, not something I'm really too worried about right now. It's just testing out how this brick pattern works and like a better way to make brick walls. Like, because, you know, I went through a few iterations here, and like obviously the texturing was really bad. Again, not worried about it right now, but you know, some of these walls are a little too flat, too thick, or just downright like odd looking. So I wanted to take a little bit of time off stream to hone in on. Well, let me be straight with you. I looked up a brick, like how to make bricks tutorial, so I'm just kind of using that workflow. But essentially, what I'm getting at is like, this is what I'm looking for out of the dungeon pack, right? Like, I want it to be snap into place. Take this piece, snap it over, or, you know, over there, and you know, like, okay, let's duplicate that, rotate it 90, and then again, you know, just snap, just like that. And so like that is my intention for this dungeon pack. So, but before I get carried away, because I feel like, you know, I've been I don't want to say wasting a lot of time, but I've been spending a lot of time focused on step 5 when really I should have been focusing on, you know, step 1. You feel me? Anyway, so I'm not gonna ramble on too much. But yeah, essentially it's like, what I was getting at was this thing, right? So I was like, okay, if I just take a wall, and if I reduce it by half, how does that look as a rail? And I'm like, okay, well that's a little bit too big, right? So I'll give you a better example. Let me just bring this back here. So like initially I had it like this, wherever it is, like this piece, right? So I was like, okay, I'll bring it up. And I'm like, alright, it looks alright. Bring it proper. And I'm like, okay, that looks fine. You know, it takes about 2 units, 2 floor units. But then I noticed, what is this? Let me just change the mad cap so it's not so shiny. I'm gonna change it to something, something nice. Something that we can kind of get the idea. Anyway, okay, so I took a wall, right? Each wall was about 2 floor units long, or wide, whatever. And so my idea was take the wall, reduce it by half. How does that look as a railing? I'm like, that's fine. You know, it's still 2 units. But look at this. I'll show you. Look at this. So if I take this unit here and pop it here, it how do I put it? I was doing it like this. Sorry, I was going like this, and I was like, okay, I snap, and then I'm like, well, if I do it again, it kind of cuts off the entrance. And this is exactly what I need to do with this gray boxing, because now I realized, I'm like, okay, so it should not be 2 units long. It should only be 1 unit long. So I'll just reduce by half, bring it over. And again, I'm like, as a rail, it's a little bit too tall. So again, okay, I'll just reduce that by half, and that's how I ended up with these pieces. And I ended up liking it because now if I, move that back, just check that out. Okay, so now it's one rail per one floor, one rail per one floor, and this gives me so much more control because now I don't have that crossover into that gap. And so this is what I was just kind of testing before I decided to, do the streaming. Oh shit. Still figuring it out, but yeah, it should be like that. And then for this piece, like, again, I'm still kind of fighting or figuring this. Not like fighting, but like still kind of tweaking this. But the idea being like each of these rails that I was doing. So let's just take. We'll take this one as an example. Or no, it's a good rail I can use. Maybe this size. Oh, like this is what I mean. Like I'm glad I did these, like all these assets, because I can really. Another thing I have to do is set up the proper like an asset browser, so I can just drag and drop. But yeah, like you see, like now that I have a better understanding, I'm like, this rail is fucking huge. Like, and it's not exactly lining up to the grid as I'd wanted, so there's some adjustments that need to be made here. But first things first, let me just fix the origin point, and then let me just focus on this for a sec. Now I'll bring it over, and that's cool. But now I'm like, okay, let me just scale it down a little bit more, and it doesn't have to be precise. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be exactly to this measurement. I would like it to be. Maybe it should be. But that's the purpose of today's stream. It's like, okay, well, you see this line here, like this line to this line. That's what I'm kind of doing. So I'm lining up this piece with this edge, right? Like this, these are lined up. And then from there, I can just slowly scale it down till it matches. Oh shit! I meant to do scale. And then from here, okay, and like I said, I'm still kind of figuring this out as I go. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just bring it up a bit, something like that, and then yeah. Now look, like these are my template pieces. Okay, I'll just cut those a little bit. Now it should be. Is it? Snap to grid, right? Like I want these to snap to grid. So let me just take a look for a sec. So yeah, this origin point stuff is a little bit finicky. I'm glad I'm glad I'm at this stage, which is kind of weird because it's like you should have been doing this in the beginning. But hey, it's a learning experience, right? Like I always say. Anyway, not to ramble too much, but now if I take this piece and we'll grid snap it, because of the way I've set up the origins and everything, they should still line up with each floor piece, meaning I can just repeat this pattern like indefinitely how I see fit. And then so how I'm testing this actually is I set my player height to about 2 meters. I think he's like what's 2 meters in feet? Oh shit, he's about 6.5 inches. Yeah, he's like 6'5", like, or 6.5 feet tall. Okay, so how do I do? What's I gotta figure out what the. Oh, okay, that's why it was set to 1.8. So 1.8288 meters equals 6 foot. So I think, like, basically what I'm saying is, like, if I know my character is 6 foot tall, and just for reference, I don't think the Astro Knight character is 6 foot tall. let me be clear right now. Like that character I made is not a finalized anything. He's just a fucking character I threw together and kind of made him like my little mascot. I still want to work on him. Like trust me. Like I got lots and lots of fucking ideas. He's like a. Anyway, that's besides the point. So what I'm saying is like let me just quickly edit this player height. So 1.8288. Which rounds up to 1.8. Okay, so now if I go into walk mode, my guy's 6 foot tall. So if I walk up these stairs, it should be... Again, I guess let me just grab my Astronite. It'll just be easier to... Let me just grab this guy over here. I know he's not, like, I don't have, like, a definitive height for this guy yet, and, like, yeah, his animations are janky. I tried to use a cube to do like a 2 meter tall, but now I know it should be 1.8288. So yeah, he's a little bit under 6 foot tall. Let's just have a little fun here. How tall is this guy? What is 1.49 meters? He's about 4'8". He's a very short man. I'll worry about that crap later, right? I mean, I'm not really focused on him right now, but I'm gonna use him as a better than using a block, right? Let me hold up. You gotta love 3D, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much intricacies to it. Okay, so I'm gonna remove his constraint, and he's gonna move to origin. Perfect. And then I'll grab his little arrow, because that's what I use to move him. And I just know I'm gonna be like fucking up a bunch of other stuff, but like at this point I don't care, right? I'm gonna like he's running through that's typical. He's running right through the floor, so something like that, right? I mean, he's like relatively the size that I want him to be. I got nothing against like I could care less about this guy's height. You know what I mean? It's all variable at this point, so. But I'm gonna use him as an example just to see. Just slide them on over. So like that looks good to me. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. Like that looks manageable. Like that. Like struggling to find the word. That looks proportional in my opinion, for a railing, right? I feel like that makes sense. It's like, okay, let's just T-pose him again. So he's like. It comes up to about his hip. Again, he's like a bit of a shorter guy, which. Was kind of unintentional, but this is what I like. This character, like I don't even know what his like I guess he is Titan, even though I'm Titan, but I don't know what to call. I'm just gonna call him Astronite because it's just easier, and the whole. If I called him Titan, it's like, oh, okay, oh cool, but if I call him Astronite, it's like, oh, what is an Astronite? Anyway, I'm gonna use Astronite as my little proportional measurement character. Like, I'm not a word, I'm like, my vocabulary is very it's not great. Okay, like it's not great, but I'm gonna use him as like a way to see and like fit these modular assets. So it's kind of it's kind of a two-way street here. It's like, yes, I'm kind of starting over again. Not like entirely, but I'm kind of going back to step one. Okay, let me just template out the proper modular assets, right? But at the same time, it's like I can use the existing assets that I've already made and properly scale them now. You get what I mean? Kind of like I just showed you. So let's take this stone, right? And I'll just duplicate, swing it on over. Okay, yeah, that's... it's absurd. It's like that is like way beyond like it's just a symptom of how I was modeling, right? Like I wasn't really paying attention to proper scale. I was just paying attention to like what the I don't know, I guess proportion wise, because in my opinion I'm like it's 3D, you know what I mean? Like it's 3D modeling. Like I can always just scale things properly back down and adjust them as needed, right? So like, okay, maybe that's on a bit of a short side, but okay, I can kind of extend it a bit like that. get it to a point where I like it, and then I can, you know, I can just chop some of these and then slide that over so it's proportion. Oh, let me do that right now. Like, I'll show you. So we'll bring this up, right? We'll put our origin there. We'll put that there. Drag it down. Now I know. Okay, so it's ended at this piece. So again, I'll just tap this, go by normal, and then I'll delete a bunch of these. And like I have no problem doing this at all. Like, this is actually like this kind of was my intention with these models. I'm like, oh, let me make the models and then let me do the cleanup after, and then, you know, like texture it properly. So it needs to be about, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna do something different. I'm just gonna focus on these for a little bit, and then, like I was saying, okay, I guess I could make a loop cut, and then it could kind of help me determine, okay, so it's lined up to this line here, so I'll just make sure that's something like that, right? That's gonna be the cutoff point for it. And or maybe, yeah, again, like, I'm, you know, like, maybe that's not the right piece to be using. Maybe I should have been using remove that. Again, the annoying thing about Astronite is, like, he's got all these damn cameras on him, so it's kind of annoying to have him in the scene and have all the extra stuff around, but it's kind of necessary. Like, I did it like that for a reason, because let me say this, like, a lot of what you see in this character is just held together by, like, duct tape and, like, glue. Like, if I shift something over, or if I move or delete something, it, like, really just falls apart, which, you know, it's part of the fun, in my opinion. So, okay, here's a thought. So that end pillar should not be, or should it be, 2B or not 2B, you know what I'm saying? So, that was a weird thing to say. I just realized something. This pillar is actually kind of interfering with what I'm doing. So, you know, I have no problem with that. I'll just delete it. Again, I'm not editing the original model. I duplicated this for a reason, because I'm like, let me just test this for a second. So let's do this. Okay, origin over there. So where's this origin gonna be? So it'll have to be something like, I guess it really depends. Like, I got, because no, this is a bit of a weird shape, so it kind of interferes with the geometry, but, and you can kind of see, like, the top and bottom aren't really the same length. Maybe they should be. Maybe that would help. But let's just play around, right? Again, like I said, like, this stream is not dedicated to, well, really to anything. It's just kind of me just figuring stuff out for now. Which I guess is, you know, and it's kind of like, it's kind of been like every stream, to be honest, just me figuring stuff out. So I will, how do I want to snap this? I want to snap it at the bottom. So I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to make the call. I'm going to reduce these top bars to be in line with these bottom bars. So to do that, what I like to do, so, like, you see these major lines, these, like, solid lines, I'm just gonna line it up to something like that. Doesn't have to be exact. Well, maybe it does. Well, we'll find out, right? That's the fun part. So I'm just gonna full screen this. I'm gonna focus on this for a second. So to this line is where we're heading. So maybe if so I gotta hold up. I gotta figure out. Really bad at this. So this major line here, this is what I'm lining up to. So let's take this piece and let's just drag that back. And it looks, you know, I'm just kind of eyeballing it at this point, but that's fine. So I think that kind of works. Let me, I got an idea. Check this out. I'll put the cursor there, the 3D, that little red circle thing, I'll put that there. And that tells me, okay, I can also count units, so that's about two off from the major. So let me go 2 back from the major, so this is the major line, and I'll go 2 units back from that. So I'll take this, bring it back to major. Just about. Okay, it's at major. And then I said 2 units back is like the edge. Okay, so let's go 1, 2. And it should relatively look okay. Again, I'm kind of just figuring this out as I go, but essentially, if I'm if I'm putting the origin point at the bottom corner there, it should be the same for this piece too, so maybe something like, yeah, this is a bit tricky now. Oh, it's okay. Maybe maybe I can just get away with putting it at the bottom center like that. And then let's bring that down and something like that, right? So now if I remove these pieces, okay, so now I can see, like, I want it to be, so if I just drag that up, drag that, it's not going too well. Okay, let's put this back here. Where's this origin point? Yeah, bottom. So from what I'm learning, and you know, from what I've learned from other YouTube tutorials, it's like some people recommend that you just put your origin at, you know, bottom center and make sure it snaps to grid. So the rest of your assets should be snapped bottom center, or something to that effect. So I'm just gonna quickly check. You know what? I'm just gonna grab this piece. This one's already lined up. So let's just go. Oh, I guess I did change the spacing. Okay, whatever. You know, I picked the wrong model to demonstrate this all, but okay, we'll bring that back. We'll bring that back like that, and then we will make. Okay, I'm beginning to see a pattern here. So if I line this up, because what I'm saying is like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like I don't want half of this pillar. I want like it to be cut complete. So instead of just scaling like that looks kind of weird to me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna snap my point here. And, okay, I was losing track of, no, that's the wrong thing I'm snapping. I am going to, okay, yeah, snap there, so then I'm going to scale it down like that. And do you get what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to get it as close as I can to that template piece. And that was honestly the whole point of making these template blocks, because now it's like, again, let me move that. Snap to grid, and then I can bring it up. Like, and I don't like these micro snaps. I like it to be like this. Yeah, okay, there we go. So again, you know, let me just move a few of these pieces. I'll just delete it. The idea being, if it's properly snapped to the grid, I should be able to just, yeah, something like that. And okay, maybe it's like I don't like that in-between piece, like, anyway, like, I mean, it doesn't have to. Like, this is the part of me that's like, a little bit too nitpicky. You know what I mean? Like, I'm way too... So again, let's just use Astronite again. Let's have a look here. Does that rail look proper to you? Probably not. So let's bring it up more in line with what this one was. Yeah, so let's just scale it up till it's about the same height. Something like that. Then we can bring it back. Something like this. And now, okay. That looks much better to me, in my opinion. So now, how am I gonna... Oh, fucking hell. Let me just move this guy, like, you just get the fuck out of here. Alright, so... now I want to trim this rail to match this one floor tile size. So again, we'll do the same thing. Let me get rid of these because those are kind of small. So now, let me just focus on these two pieces for a sec. now the fun part happens where I struggle. That seems to be the theme of this pack. It's just me struggling. But yeah, like I'm not too sure where I should be lining this grid up, but I'm gonna attempt something here. So I am going to. I'm gonna see. So like if I cut it here, that's like half of that kind of piece. So maybe if I slide it back a bit. Okay, no. Maybe if I scale it down a bit, yeah, something like that I think might help. So now I can just go back into the model, just get rid of that cut, that's kind of useless. So what I'll do is, I have L, you know, the L button, and then I just select by normal, and it helps me, because instead of dragging and then unselecting everything, I kind of just like tap, 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 and then get rid of it. And not get rid. Let's just delete those out, and then I can just take these ends and just drag. Oh, I have to go and so. You might notice I do this a lot, where it's like, why does it keep switching these views? Because if you look up here, going to wireframe and then X-ray mode, so that lets me just grab it all at once, without having to worry about stuff. That was a great explanation. Okay, now it should be a little bit more in line with what we want. So again, let's just snap this to the bottom, because this is a kind of weird model, like it's not really uniform. So I have a feeling if I just snap to the bottom, it should work out. Something like this. I actually kind of like this view. It looks cool. So let's bring back Astronite. Let's see. Again, he's a shorter man. You know, not, you know, it's whatever. But you know, he's a good proportioned kind of. I don't even know what the fuck this character's supposed to be. He's like a. Well, actually, I do know what he's supposed to be, but if you're wondering, he's a, you know, I say he's a robot spaceman, but, you know, emphasis on the man. He's a human being under that, well, he doesn't have a, yeah, oh, holy crap, I didn't realize that was so square. Oh, I always thought that was more circular. No way. I'm learning something new. Well, isn't that something? I always thought his neck was like a cylinder. Anyway, yeah, he's a man, and like, you know, think of like Iron Man armor. You know, it's a Tony Stark in the armor. Anyway, let's see if I could fix this. It sort of looks okay, but you know, I have a secret here for you. Let me tell you something. If you've ever seen that meme, let me tell you something. So check this. Oh fuck. Gotta rescale it too. Okay, no big deal, no big deal. Let me just. Again, it's getting too cluttered here, so let's just clean it up. So I'm here, and I'm just gonna do the same thing. Put the origin here. We got that. We got that. So now what I'm gonna do is just match the size, or relatively the size of these things. Looks about right to me. And so I can take that up a notch. And this is cool. So I select everything, and then I unselect the piece that I want. And I'll just delete it. And then again, you know, cursor to the origin point. Now this should work. Hopefully. I know I don't want to like, I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to jinx myself. But yeah. So this is what I'm kind of saying. Like it. So maybe this tells me that this piece should go to. You know what I mean? Like it maybe if I just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to do, but okay, let's just try it. Let's just kill these end pieces like that. So, and then yeah, of course I missed a couple things here, which is cool, you know, which is fine. So like I have a feeling, or I don't have a feeling. So maybe I have to kill this end piece too then. this is what I'm getting at. It's like this is all just me learning like as I go, right? Like I'm sure there's probably I don't know, maybe there's some 3D people like watching that are like, what the hell is this guy doing? You could just do it this way, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not that guy. Like yeah, this isn't looking too good, but you know, it's kind of like with the walls. Like this is what I wanted, right? You know, like how I was like, oh look how these, oh shit, how these columns kind of line up. So that's what I'm leaning towards with this asset pack. You know, like maybe it's. Oh wait, I just had an idea. So what if I did something like this? Now I just drag. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So it. And then we can have a separate end cap piece that we'll just put at the end. You know what I mean? So, and this is cool. Like this, I feel like. Number one. Okay, number one. Let me get this out of the way. I think I'm gonna do texturing late into the project. Well, I mean, it's already fucking late. It's already been like almost a year, but there's nothing wrong with gray boxing. Is like I've been avoiding it for so long because I'm like it's so ugly, it's so uninspiring. I don't know how to fucking do it, and but look, like I mean, just I mean, fucking look at this. This is sick. You know, just using the character as like a okay. These columns may need to. This is not so sick. Maybe I bring these down a little bit, kind of like that. Or maybe, okay, yeah. Always never a dull moment with me, hey? Or maybe it's incredibly dull. Like honestly, I don't mean to shit on like the viewers or anything. Like honestly, I'm really happy, really thankful people actually show interest in these. But I'm curious, like what compels you to watch me do this? And I mean that like honestly, I'm not trying to like rage bait or any of that shit. It's like because me personally, yes, like I would watch someone do like 3D modeling, but that person would have to know what they're doing. Like if you know, if they're like, oh, I worked at such and such company, and I have like 30 years experience. Like, hell yeah, I would watch their stream. But like a guy like me, it's like I'm just figuring all this stuff out as I go. Like, oh man, that's fucking awesome. Sorry, like I don't mean to, to be too like cocky or anything, and I'm not. Like to be honest, like I want to convey that like I'm not like overly proud of myself for this, cause like, but I am kind of happy. I'm kind of happy to see the results of like how these assets have been kind of developing. Right? I mean, like to me, it looks proportional. Like if I go back to Astronite and no, I'll make him run for a bit. To me, that looks decent. Like again, he's a bit shorter. He's about like I don't know, like less than 5 feet, but it's cool. You know what I mean? Like I actually really like how these assets are developing, and this is the whole point of me changing not direction, but changing pace of like, okay, maybe I should just focus on just how the modularity works before I go nuts and then like, oh man, I textured everything, and like that was the old plan. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna model a bunch of shit, I'm gonna make trim sheets, I'm gonna texture them up, unwrap them. But as you can see, everything would have been like huge, and then like, okay, let me rescale it, and then maybe again, I'm not sure, maybe it works fine, but I have a feeling the texture work or something like that would have been kind of fucked, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I'm actually kind of this is so cool. Like it's actually coming together just because of like a few little template pieces and a few like, yeah, like I like this. I like this a lot. So let me just throw in a wall there. And this is why I really need to make that asset browser, because like this is fucking annoying. Like I think I made it before. Oh yeah, so like I was going for like modular doors, floors, prisons, and like. But I kind of, yeah, I think I like scrapped a bunch of it because I'm like I'm gonna redo this dungeon stuff. So let's just say, for example, let's go back to where's Astronite? Where's this guy? So we just tidy it up, not tidy. Let's just add a few things, just for fun, because this is essentially what I want. It's like, okay, the modular like objects can just be placed, all wherever, And in terms of the walls and stuff, like again, I'm not a game dev, so I'm not sure what Unity or Unreal or even Godot works like, but I'm pretty sure those those um those engines have like a good grid system for you to like load in, like all your assets and then like plop them down kind of thing, but not to get too like, I don't want to get too carried away with this, right? I don't want to like get into the whole level design stuff right away, but yeah, I do want to do just a basic block out of something. Let me just remove this. I have to. Yeah. Okay. Great. It makes it even worse. Yeah. So like I want to do a block out properly before I start organizing and doing the asset browser. I think I'll do the asset browser kind of towards the end, maybe. Because as you can see, like, okay, he's got, I got like a lot of models here. But a lot of them are in like an unfinished state, or they're not modular, like they're not proper modular, like these. Like this is exactly what I'm going for, where it's just a seamless blend, and then you can add your own little pillars wherever your heart desires, and then I don't know, maybe you make like a again, I don't know. I'm not a dungeon designer, level designer kind of guy, but I don't know. Maybe it's like, okay, there's something beyond this wall. Maybe like a treasure chest, and okay, you got the dungeon item or whatever. It's Zelda now. We're playing Zelda. But yeah, I'm gonna. How long have we been talking about? 48 minutes, maybe 38, because of the. Well, I don't know. I started like 5-10 minutes late into the stream, but this is cool. Like this taught me a lot of like, okay, how do these textures work together? And but like I'm not. It's not what I want. I don't want flat planes. Maybe I do. Maybe like if they're really good flat planes, like they can work. Like you know what I mean? Like these flat planes work. But what was I gonna say? Like yeah, looking at this, like I've been looking at this same layout for like maybe the last like 6 to 8 months or something like that. So, oh hey, we got someone talking in here. What language is that? Let me just give me a sec, man. Let me Google Translate what you're saying. So you're saying. Oh, okay, you're speaking Russian. Oh, well, hello. What are you modeling? And sorry, this is gonna take a bit. I'm just gonna. What am I modeling? Where am I from? Those are two wonderful questions, my friend. So let me. Oh shit! I just moved my guy. Okay, give me 1 second, and I can explain. Well, to give you a short explanation, what I'm working on is like a modular dungeon themed asset pack. So I'm gonna put my character back onto the demo scene. I'm just gonna, yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I knew this would happen. I knew if I started messing with the origins, but whatever, I'll just plop them down. Yeah, just forgive me for oh wait. Ah, there we go. I fixed it. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So uh, so this is supposed to be a. Oh, if you want, I can speak English. Yeah, no, I would appreciate that. Sorry, I don't speak Russian. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just using Google Translate. And if you're wondering, I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian. And I speak English. Well, But yeah, I'm working on like a, like a modular asset pack, like for for game development, for 3D modelers. If you're interested in, almost spilled my coffee. Yeah, that's the plan. I was just chatting to myself randomly on stream about so like I've been focused on this layout for like way too long, and I'm kind of losing motivation, so I started to make a bunch of modular assets, right? But I hit a wall where I'm like, a lot of these assets are not scaled properly. They're not like on the grid. So I took some time. You can kind of see this wall I recently did off stream. So I took some time to just kind of make the assets snap together. So I'll just turn on grid snap like that. So I wanted it to be like, you can kind of see like there's a gap, like there's no gap because it basically just lines up modularly. I'm like, but anyway, what I was doing is instead of just modeling a bunch of a bunch of different assets, like doors, like these aren't even related to a dungeon. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you would find wood lattice doors in a dungeon. So instead of modeling a bunch of things, I decided to try and just go back to the basics, figure out, okay, this is my template wall. It's going to be about 4 meters long. It's about 3 meters high. And so I decided, okay, I want my floor units to be about one floor unit, or 2 floor units equals the width of 1 wall unit. You know what I mean? And so then with that in mind, I can just drag and drop the the asset so it snaps properly. This is what I'm trying to hone in on before I get carried away and start modeling a bunch of stuff. And what I was doing just now on stream with the I'm just gonna bring the character back. I was using him as a guide to check like how tall, how sorry, I also use Google Translate. Oh, okay. I'll try and speak a little bit clearer. So, I really like the way the character looks when he runs through the dungeon. Oh, thank you, thank you. That this means a lot to me. But yes, like I am. I can. Let me open up my Google chat or the YouTube chat for a second here. There. I mean, like I know, like speaking is like I can imagine the Google Translate for me speaking is kind of hard to deal with. So I'll just type it in because you can translate that, I suppose. But yes. But yeah, thank you. I'm really glad that you like the character running. And there's a few different angles I've been testing. But yeah, this was my first demo layout that I was using as a way to test all the models, but it's it still needs lots of work. So let me just show you this one pixel camera effect that I was doing. This is unrelated to the asset pack. I just did that because I was bored. Which says a lot about oh, what is this one? Cam light. And yeah, this was my FPS, like first person camera that I did. So yeah, that's oh no, that was not the camera I wanted to show you. This is the camera I wanted to show. And yeah, I just do it as pixelated because it looks cool to me. That's all. And I even did like a top-down camera. So the reason I did all these different camera angles was because I wanted to get an idea of if this were a game. Like this is not a video game, not yet, but I wanted to check how would it look from a top-down perspective, side-scrolling perspective, or third person, which is one of my favorites. But yeah, no, it's all good. I'm like I know there's a bit of a language barrier, but hey, I appreciate, thank you for taking interest in my work. But yes, before I get carried away with this, I was just figuring out the scaling of everything first. So when I do proper scaling, then things can snap better together. So like this was template, right? So I can remove the template and I can just snap these in place. And so like this is kind of what I've been working on, so like this. But it's been okay, so how I do these streams is when I'm 1 hour at the 1 hour mark, I take about a 10-15 minute break. So we're getting to that point, so I will be back in about 10-15 minutes. I'm just gonna play some audio and some background. What do you call like some videos in the background. So I'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. Hey, it's me again. I'm back. So let's continue this template work that I was doing. I'm actually really enjoying this now. It's like a weird change of pace. I'm like, okay, well, before I was getting kind of burnt out on just modeling so many damn different things, but now I kind of see the benefit of it. This mic on? Yeah, it's on. But no, like I'm starting to see like the benefit of all the stuff I was doing. So let's just continue with what I was doing before. So how can I do this piece here? So I'm gonna grab a corner piece, which I should probably know where it is by now. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so let me turn this back on. So yeah, I'll duplicate this piece. I'll throw it over here. So again, like this, I should have scaled these better, but whatever. So where did I put the origin point on this one? At the bottom corner piece. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Put it on the corner piece. Your girlfriend likes creating 3D models in Blender, and she asked, "Do you make low poly models or high poly?" I want to say it's low poly. I mean, maybe people would would argue differently, but I've never really done high poly modeling. Like maybe a few times, like when I was starting, but I tend to think of this as low poly. Like you can see these edges, like they're basically let me just show you like my interpretation, like my personal interpretation of low poly is something like octagons, hexagons, decagons. Is that how you say it? Decagons. So like I tend to stick to that kind of range of models. So what I work on is like I'll show you the wireframe actually. You can kind of see it better here. So like if I get him to run through again, I'll admit some of these walls are a little bit noisy. Maybe they're not exactly low poly, but for all intents and purposes, I would have to say that I work in low poly, and that's actually what it's advertised on my YouTube banner. So yeah, I would say low poly. Like even that sword, that like I know you mentioned that you like his sword, so like that I would say is like I would say that's low poly. I mean, it looks, yeah. Don't worry about that. That was me trying to texture it, but yeah, I would say low poly for sure because it's again it's like maybe like an octagon or like a 10-sided decagon or whatever. So, but yeah, I yeah, that's the best I can answer your question. So like again, if he like runs through this whole dungeon, like a lot of things here are just what do you call it? Like so this, take a cube, and if you bevel it, or sorry, in edit mode, if you bevel it, kind of looks like that. So like I would consider this kind of style low poly. So like a better example I can show you would be just a second here. Just turn on. Where's that camera? Yeah, so this I would consider to be like low poly, right? Like so again, if I go to wireframe mode, you can kind of see like maybe that's kind of cutting it. Like again, I'm not too sure what the cutoff between high and low poly is, but essentially all of this was modeled with cubes and cylinders. Like I don't do sculpting. Like I feel like sculpting is more high poly work. And then yeah, I just did the texturing too. So but yeah, that's the best I could answer that question. I would have to say low poly. It's kind of a long answer to give, but But yeah, like I was saying, so I'm gonna try and fix that rail. I think I'm gonna do this like for this stream. It's actually kind of chilling. You know, I can actually just chit chat and like I was gonna play that just pop this chat out so I can type. I was gonna play that this like Skyrim ambience. I'll just bring that up again because that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll have it in like the background, like maybe quietly in the background, but yeah, just give me one sec. I'm just gonna play some of this. I gotta find like yeah. Just give me one moment here. I just gotta find some ambience to play. Yeah, this Temple of Mara seems like a good one. So just give me one sec. I'm just gonna check my audio levels real quick. Oh yeah, I think you can barely hear that, the audio. Let me just bring it up a little bit more. Yeah, so I don't, yeah, I think you can kind of, I can talk over it without being drawn out, so I'm just gonna run that back and then hit play on this. Yeah, I usually, I usually don't talk much during my streams. I kind of just put on background ambience and then, you know, kind of zone out, but now I'm like, yeah, it's. I feel like the talking is actually helping me a lot more because I'm kind of. What's the term? Thinking out loud. So I'm just gonna scale this piece down. So something like. Yeah, it's relatively the same size, I would say. Yeah, I really should have scaled these together, but yeah, it should be okay. Hopefully. Maybe not. Oh man, I really should have scaled these together. Wow, artifacts look wonderful. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I guess I got a bit off topic on when I was doing those gems. But you know, it's just a good learning experience in my opinion. So I'm not too caught up on that kind of. Like, I'm not too caught up on it. So for this piece, how do I want this to line up? I think I need to put this something like this, maybe the origin here. So that way I can just rotate like this. Does that work? No, no, it does not work. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rescale those pieces. Not this one, these ones. So I'm gonna take these again, throw them over here. And I'm gonna keep them together this time so I can properly scale it. So I will use this as my reference. I will put my origin here, just like it is. And I'm just gonna join these. Oh crap! I forgot. Probably have a modifier on it. Okay, so I'm gonna join these two, and then I'm gonna put my cursor here. Put that there. There. This should help me. So I'm gonna scale it down until it fits. Something like that seems pretty decent to me. I'll take this piece, make sure it's on the grid. Okay, now I can probably take this piece out. So yeah, let me delete these. And then I can separate that out. So I can I'm just, yeah, I'm just tapping the L key repeatedly to, well, let me throw on, we'll do it this way, so I can actually just drag and drop all these. So like that whole section, I'm just gonna separate again, like that. Like that, there. And now where's this origin? So if that origin is down there, this origin should be down here. And then, yeah, this is the tricky part for me because I'm like, well, I'll figure this out. I'll figure this out. It's kind of, it's what I get for working with these corner pieces. Because it can't, like, you see what I mean? Like, if I, like, it's on the grid, so I can snap properly, or almost properly. But yeah, it's good enough in my opinion. So back to this, just full screen it. I can bring these pieces out like that. And so like I was explaining, like, you know, this segment lines up exactly with my floor tile, so, and then I can add my corner piece. So like I was saying, so if I copied that and then copied this and then bring the corner piece in, this would be something like that, if you know, if that makes sense. Or maybe I rotated 90 and then, yeah, there's still a lot of figuring this stuff out. Maybe I might do maybe I might do something like this. I'll take another piece, put the origin here, make sure it snaps. That is snapped. That is snapped. Okay. So then I can have a, no, does that, yeah, this is a lot more difficult than I was thinking it was gonna be. But yeah, basically it's like, yeah, something like, come on. I mean, no, it doesn't line up. I gotta figure that out sometime. Yeah. And I'm beginning to think I know why it's not fitting, because I made, yeah. So where's the origin point on this? Okay, anyway, I'm not gonna worry. I'll worry about these corner pieces later. So let's just take another fence piece. You know, like this one. Let's just take this and we'll continue the little scaling thing that I've been working on here. So I gotta figure this out. Like I don't like how this, maybe this corner piece might do it. Let me see. Maybe something like that. If I rotate it here. Then make sure it's on the grid. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not too worried about this thing. Like, I don't know why I'm struggling so much with it. Let's just move on to a different piece. So, to reiterate, what I was doing was I was trying to create standard templates, like for the floor, for the wall, for the pillars, and the idea being that as I drag and drop them in, they should align properly. So yeah, the idea being that it works as a kit. Is 3D modeling your job or a hobby? This is a hobby. No, this is not my job. This is just a hobby I do. And yeah, that's why I'm probably making so many different mistakes and stuff like that. Like this is not my like I'm not a professional anything. I'm just a guy who's interested in this stuff, so I'm just trying to learn it. So I'm gonna take this wall, I'll throw it over here. Yeah, so something like this is what I'm getting at. That like the pieces should yeah, they should just snap together kind of thing. And then oh man, like this 3D's like sometimes the cursor like yeah, it comes basically what I'm saying is like as I snap it there should be no gap between these two pieces. They should seamlessly snap. So like before I get carried away though, I want to do like just basic gray boxing just to get an idea of it first. So yeah, like it would be something like this. Like again, I hate this. Like it's so annoying. If I go like this, it makes more sense. So yeah, something like that, right? And then maybe I can take another staircase and then I don't know, snap it somewhere else, like maybe, or you know, you can do it something like this. So then this part, okay, so I kind of, I don't know, it feels weird. I'm like talking to myself so much on this, on this stream, but I don't know. I mean, I'm talking to you too, like for sure. But I'm just saying, it's kind of like I'm like thinking as I go, like how to do these things. So yeah, let's continue. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. I'm kind of just like you know what I need? I need my character. I need Astronite for scale. So yeah, like this is the idea. Or I can probably turn on the rendered view. Or you know, I have a better where is it? Camera light FPS. Let me just grab this thing. And I can run over to my demo area. So yeah, this guy is about 1.8 meters. So yeah, he's about 6 foot tall. Like this camera is about 6 foot tall. So if you're like, oh man, I just did something. So yeah, if you're, oh man, I'm way too fast. So if you're like a 6 foot tall character, I mean, like this is what I'm trying to figure out, because like I don't think. I feel like a giant. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, the idea being like, you know, if you go up these stairs, then like, you know, these should be rails, these should be floors. So again, like if I were to walk through here, it looks a little bit more coherent, right? It looks. I don't know about these stairs though. Like I don't know if these should be like I don't want to get too carried away. I'm gonna start deleting some of these objects. Because I want to keep it as like a gray box, right? Without getting too distracted. So here's my thought. I think these stairs might need to be taller. Because what I'm thinking is... let me move this camera guy too. Here's what I'm thinking. It should be like that. That should be the second floor level up there. So these stairs need to be raised. So what I'm gonna do is just focus on these for a sec. Origin point is right there. So I'm gonna scale on the z-axis, like up and down. And I'm just gonna bring it up to about there. Something like that. I feel like that makes more sense for a staircase. And then your second floor would be up here. And then... Or maybe it... yeah. Okay, maybe I'll just scale it up a little bit more then. Something like that, maybe? Like... So now if my 6-foot character... I'll just make some room here. So now if my, where is he? This 6-foot guy. There's so many buttons to press on this. Like 3D modeling is just it's fun. Like don't get me wrong. Like it's a really fun hobby, but sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating. But you know that's with anything, I guess. You know it takes time to learn things, and so I come up these stairs, and now I'm on the second floor, which is the ceiling. Right, so like that's kind of what I'm planning it as, like this floor, this floor should act as this second floor ceiling. So what I'm gonna do then is, let me move all these assets out of the way for a sec. Yeah, and now they don't even line up, whatever. I'll just move those. So let's take that second floor. I'm gonna have to move this guy in the camera. It's kind of annoying. I'll just put him at the end. So I'll take this second floor that I'm making with the, you know, with the rails. And again, I'm not entirely satisfied with how these look, but I'm gonna try and raise it up a little bit first. And yeah, and I'll just grab this and then I'll focus on those. So unselect that. So yeah, these bottom points should come up here. Something like that. I think that makes much more sense. So now if I'm 6-foot guy, see like these stairs look, wait, let me zoom it in. These stairs look way too small now. Right, because I'm 6, like I'm not in real life, but like the character, this camera is 6 foot tall. So like as a 6 foot tall person, you should not be like looking over the staircase, unless you're like a giant. But I'm not a giant. I'm not making a giant. So, like this feels more appropriate. Now we're on the second floor, and you know like these are, you know, probably to my hip. Or let me grab my Astro Knight character. I can use him as an example. Yeah, so I'll have to remove the constraint. He's over here now. So I'm gonna put him next to these stairs. Oops. I'll just put him next to these stairs. And he's kind of weird because he's like running into the ground, so I'll just bring him up a bit. Yeah, that's good enough. So now if I compare, like, you know, he looks... Do you see what I'm saying? Like, these stairs look, like, in comparison to him, they look way too small. But if I take him and, like, you know, he goes up these stairs, like... It's such a stupid animation. Like, you know, he's just like going up these stairs. Let me just bring him up a bit. Let me bring him up. So if I bring him like here, right? So let me just get him to T-pose, right? He'll stand up straight. So like I was saying, I was using him as like a template for how I'm scaling everything. So it looks proportional to me. It looks good. And like I was saying, as a disclaimer, like this camera is about 6 foot tall, and for whatever reason, not intentionally, but he's like less than 5 feet. He's like a dwarf or something, or like a gnome. Like I don't know. Like yeah, he's a very small. He's a very small man. But that's not what I intended, right? It's okay. Maybe I can scale him up a bit. I'm afraid if I scale him up, then his animations become kind of yeah. Yeah, his animations become all weird if I scale him, so I'm just gonna leave him like that. But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, so this is part of what this stream's about, right? I'm trying to block things out, trying to correct my scale on my models, and then slowly but surely I should be able to have everything on screen to scale, or relatively to scale. So yeah, let's continue with those rails because I feel like that was a good. Yeah, I wanted to grab these ones. Yeah, sorry, I'm like all over the place right now, but I just want to make sure that I didn't take the original. No, okay. So let's go back here. Okay, so I'm gonna move a few things again. Like this is why I kind of don't like having Astronite so close to what I'm doing because it's got all these lines and parenting things that kind of get in the way. But okay, let's take another piece here. So I'm on the grid, and I'm gonna take this piece. So this one piece and this piece, like this. So I'm gonna line up their like the bottom pieces of them. And now what I'm gonna do is I'll just take this. Oops, I fucked that up real quick. I'm gonna take this piece. I'm gonna go. Oh, I was already on it. I'm just gonna scale it down till it's relatively the same height as this rail. And of course, I'll check. Yeah, see, that's way too small. So in that case, like I bring Astronite again. Or oh man, I turned off those extras. So just move them forward a little bit, just to get an idea of this. So like, that's way too small, right? That is way too small for my liking. So what I'll do, I hope this works. No, it doesn't. Okay. Wonderful. What I'm gonna do is rescale this. I really should have kept something else in the, yeah. I need that. Okay, okay. The reason I'm keeping this template block is because I want this thing to only be two, what do you call these? 2 units, two squares long, so what I'm gonna do is, well, that actually looks pretty good, to be honest. Like, that looks kind of decent, but let's scale it to something like this, maybe. Bring it up a bit. So that's about 1, 2, 3 of these arches. So I'll just delete these other 2. So I'll go into here, I'll just tap L. We're on normal, so I can just select all these normals, or these objects. And so I'll get rid of these. And now I will go wireframe and X-ray mode. And I will bring these to this point. Let me just turn off this. YouTube is so slow in Russia, I can never comment in time. Hey, no worries, man, no worries. All good, man. Like, take your time with whatever you want to say, like as long as it's appropriate. But yeah, like I mean, there's no rush. Like I'm it's all good. But I can kind of understand, yeah, having a slower internet or so is that gets to me, man. Like I don't know, I don't know, I can't stand having slow internet, but that's probably just, I don't know, I guess that's a universal thing at this point. I don't know, yeah, anyway, I'm gonna attempt to see how this fits on the grid. So okay, I noticed something here. Let me get out of this mode. So check this out. I'm gonna take these two pieces and I'll explain. So if I just duplicate this, like, it can work, but you'll notice the beginning piece here sticks out a bit, so I need to include that. So I will undo like this. I will continuously undo. Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. So it's back to here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, this is gonna be tricky, but I'm gonna go like this. So how many units is this? So let's line this up proper. That's about 1 square and 1, 2, 3, 4.5-ish. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is I need to copy this exact amount on this side and then it can connect properly. I think. So it should be something like that maybe? So what I'll do then is oh, okay, I have an idea. So I'm just using this as a guide. So I'm gonna take these and I'll just drag them back. Yeah, and then it's okay if there's a gap. I mean, I don't really care about that. But so now if I, excuse me, now if I just copy paste. Oh yeah, I'll just keep it like that. So now if I just copy paste. Yeah, there we go. There we not go. Oh my god. Okay, maybe it does have to be snap to grid. Do you see what I mean? Like it should seamlessly connect as like, yeah. Kind of a weird thing I just did, but basically just to reiterate in case you're wondering like what did he do? I kept this long. I duplicated it out. And I moved it till it looked about even, okay? That's model 1, model 2. And then I just took the first one and I dragged those lines back just to, well, I didn't do it properly, but now I did it. So I dragged them back just to line up with model 2, right? And now when I delete model 2 and, you know, snap that to grid, yeah, I don't know, I can't redo it, but I don't know, I guess just trust me, bro, it works. Anyway, like, yeah, I'm trying to make it so it's like, yeah, I don't know why it, oh wait, I think I know, okay, maybe it has to do with this origin point. It should be here. Now when I snap it, it snaps like that, and now, come on, I just had it, okay. I want to zoom out because I want these grid spaces to be big, and it's, yeah. Well, this is embarrassing. I don't know how to fix this, so. Hey, like, you know, like I said, this is just my hobby, right? Like, I'm not actually I really don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. Like, I mean, I have like a general idea, but. Yeah, let me just get rid of these pieces. I mean, it kind of looks okay. It kind of doesn't look okay. I mean, these modular pieces are like... Okay, I gotta move this guy. There's way too many lines on screen. I just shove them over there so it cleans it up a little bit. Okay, I have a feeling here. I think I know what's going on. I need to line this model with this line here. So what I will do, I'll move it back. Let me just start on a like a bit of an away piece so that that doesn't interfere. So something like this maybe. Okay, so now it's lined up. Bring it up a bit. Now we're lined up. So now maybe if I snap to grid it works. Maybe no, doesn't work. Well, I have a feeling that maybe these like this line and the other one. Okay, let me just count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 12 units. Okay, okay. I can work with that. So this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's why it's not working. Okay. One thing I learned in this 3D hobby is like there's a lot of math involved, and let me just get rid of these extra vertices. Yeah, there's a lot of like math. Like it's not just like 1 plus 1 stuff. I mean, like if this section is 12 units long, then this section should be 12 units long. So again, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It should be like... I'm hoping that works. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, let's hope this works now. I'm kind of, yeah, I don't know, I feel like I'm wasting time doing what I'm doing, but honestly, it's just part of the process, right? It's just part of learning how to do what I'm learning what to do. Come on, work. Ah, yeah. Okay, why doesn't this want to work? Yeah, I don't know. This used to work. Like it worked before. How it there's like a gap there now. So okay. Hold on. I have an idea. So if there's a gap here, and I want it to be that length, then maybe this needs to be shorter. It's kind of weird to explain, but like you see what I mean. Like it's overlapping. So like if I look at this piece, okay, maybe it's too big then. Maybe if I scale it down like this, maybe that's the issue. Okay. So if I scaled it so it's okay, we snap to grid again. Then, you know, that looks good enough to me. You know, I'm not too picky about this stuff. Well, actually, I am. Like you just saw what I went through. Like I'm really picky about this stuff, but there we go. So I can, you know, I don't know. I'm not like okay, like it's not. You know what? Fuck it. It's good enough. It's good enough in my opinion. It's not. You know, I'm not gonna let it bug me. So just to reiterate what I was doing. Okay. Let me bring that up a bit. So to get an idea of what I was doing, so this is not, well, okay, these are both snap to grid, okay. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. Okay, so this edge piece lines up with this edge piece, like this piece lines up with this piece, relatively the same. Okay. So with that being said, I need the end piece, these pieces, to line up with this edge, right? And this is why I made my template, like this is why I did the template thing, because now if I duplicate and stretch, and the idea being like, look, this origin point lines up here, as long as I keep that in mind, I just reline it up again, it snaps, like it, maybe not entirely, but it works for me. It works for me. I mean, when you're that zoomed out, nobody, who's gonna tell? Who's gonna know the difference? Nobody. That's who. No, I'm pretty sure there's a better way to do it, but I'm happy with how this works. Yeah, I'm really happy with that look. So again, let's bring back Astronite and let's just see. So you gotta ask yourself, does that look proportional for a rail? Remember, these are rails or like fences. So yeah, I would say, we have like a camera I can go into, yeah. If I just take him here, or not him, like the... No, I just do that. So yeah, this is what I'm getting at. So, okay, that's different. I didn't mean to do that. What I'm getting at is like, as he goes through the stage, or the map that I'm making, then, oh yeah, black screen on Twitch. Yeah, I have no idea why it does that, to be honest, but here, hold up, let me try. I can link you to the YouTube stream, like I'm streaming on YouTube as well, but let me see if I can fix that real quick. And I appreciate it, thank you for pointing that out to me. Usually Twitch works, but maybe I'll just change some settings here. Yeah, no, it's fucked. Okay. I'm just gonna link you the YouTube stream. Like, I know it yeah, I don't know if it's good manners, bad manners to redirect from one streaming site to the other, but yeah, I'll just throw you a link here in case you wanna see what I'm actually doing. There. Yeah, again, I'll have to figure out why Twitch does this, like, but yeah, it works after the stream is done. You can it works, like the playback, whatever. But anyway, so like I was saying, like, so just by testing the the proportions of these like rails, like some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are a little bit smaller, but I feel like for my purpose it kind of works. Like it looks good. It looks decently scaled, and thanks to the template stuff, it's modular. Like it. Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but it snaps. Like it snaps like seamlessly, relatively seamlessly. I mean, like there's a bit of a gap in there, but we'll just keep that between us. Like it's fine. Oh man, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Alright, I'm just gonna remove those. Not that. So now that I know these work, right, like I can probably put them on like different points over here. And like, look at this. I love it. I love how it just snaps to the grid. So I'm gonna grab another set of rails, or maybe I'll figure out what size of door I want. I don't know. I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm just gonna do what's easiest for me and then go from there. So let's look at What's another rail I can do? It's a weird sentence. What's another rail I can do? Like I'm doing rails. Let's just do the simple one. Again, I have to figure out the corner piece snapping, but pretty sure I can figure that out sometime. Oh man, it's already been okay, I'll go to 2 hours. It's been 2 hours, but I took a 15-minute break, so I'll go to like 2:15 and then I'll take a break. like struggling to think. But I'm actually like, this is awesome. Like I'm having a blast doing this now. Okay, so let's just make more room. Oh, well, oh man, Astronite and his damn lines everywhere. So I'm just gonna bring these to, I don't know, like maybe something like that. Yeah. So I'll just join them for now and then I'll separate them later. So now I gotta figure out where the pivot point of this one's gonna be. So my idea would be, actually I shouldn't have joined them, I should have just left them. How am I gonna do this piece? So part of me wants to do the let's try this part. So if it's snapped at the bottom, right, and it lines up with these pieces that I've been making, right? Yeah, something like that. Man. Okay, I'm gonna have to move some of these models because they're a little bit distracting. I'll just give me a second here. I'll just move some of these away. Now that I know they fit, like I'm not too too concerned about it. But I want to start like I want to keep a clean kind of slate here. So okay, so I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay, whatever. We'll just leave it like that. So I want to snap it to here, or do I? Yeah, I gotta think of this one for a second here. Because I think if I cut this corner piece, like make an F shape, then I can just continuously join them, but we'll figure it out. We'll see how it works. Yeah, this is interesting. I didn't really think this one through here. Something like that. Yeah, something like that is what I'm aiming for. So let me just try and grid snap. So I mean, it kind of works to an extent. You kind of have to drag them out like twice like that, but again, using our reference here, so let's just use this one. This was a good reference. So like bringing that back and bringing it closer. So these are way too big, right? And so what I'm gonna do is snap my origin here, or my 3D cursor, and I'm gonna change my scaling, whatever the hell this is called, scaling point to 3D cursor. I'm just gonna bring it down until it's just about the same height. But I also have to be aware of just a sec. So I can explain it better here. So like these pieces, end of this lined up to the end of that floor. The end of this piece lined up to the end of this floor. So that's kind of what I want to do with these pieces. So I have an idea. Let's just try it out here. So if I delete these pieces and the little extras that seem to get lost, Yeah, something like that. So then I can bring this piece in. So let me just snap my cursor here, right? So yeah, it's horrible. I got an idea though. What if I snapped it here so it's like at the edge of it, right? Take my piece, I'll snap it here, and then I can, yeah, so. Yeah, this, these pieces, man, like, they're very interesting to work on. So, it's, maybe if it snaps like that, I don't know, it kind of looks okay, but yeah, okay, let's just roll with that. So what I'm planning is the edge of this, or actually maybe I should use this as the edge. Okay, let me do that. So I'm gonna simplify the screen here for a bit. So let me just bring this down. I want the edge of this hexagon to line up with the edge of my floor, right? Something like that. And then I'll just, snap it upwards. I'll bring it up. Yeah, something like that. So now, if I just run it through and duplicate it. Yeah, so I don't like that. It's kind of, I mean, it kind of makes sense logically, but trying to avoid, like, what I'm aiming for is for, like, objects to just reach like that, you know what I mean? So, and I have till the end of here to go to, so. Something like that, but again, so now what I can do is take all of these and yeah, okay, whatever, we'll just do it this way, and then to 3D cursor. So I'm gonna scale this down until this edge lines up here, something like that. And now I can look at my other reference, right? And I'll just join these, so I'll just join them as like one piece. And so hopefully if I did this correctly, oh yeah, yeah, that's kind of what I was aiming for. So you just snap it, snap it, and like, and it works. It works as a railing. And so again, once again, take my character Astronite, we'll bring him over here. I'll watch him struggle and shake violently, but oh right, because it should be individual. We don't need to watch him struggle, but so I feel like it's a decent sized railing. Maybe it could have been a little bit bigger, but let's compare it to some other ones, right? So like something like that. So again, like, I want these to be sort of uniform, but again, like they're modeled so differently from each other that I guess it's inevitable there's going to be a little bit of what do you call it? A little bit of discrepancy or like differences. And honestly, I'm okay with having some be a little bit shorter, some are a little bit higher. I'll just throw it in wireframe for a bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if that's the only thing I really care about is like if it continuously snaps. I'll just move these pieces like this. Like that. That's what I care about most. Not really the height or anything. And if anything, I honestly think having a little bit of variation in the heights can break up the I don't know, the monotony or something. Like I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but so that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of rails that I've done now. So, and these corner pieces, damn, I always forget. Like, when I scale them, I should scale them with their corner pieces so they properly align. But yeah, these don't right now, so that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll worry about that stuff later. So what else can I do for rails? What else? Let's try some wood rails. Some like wooden type of rails. Not these stair ones, because those are a bit odd, but let's try this one. Or should I go with these stone ones again? Oh, so many to choose from. Well, I'll tell you one thing. We've done this, we've done that, we've done this. So let's continue with one and two more of these. So we'll get these. So if you can kind of see here, I categorized my or what I was intending to categorize. Essentially, I wanted a bunch of different categories, right? You know, floors, stairs, doors, walls, pillars, rails, fence. And then I wanted to break those up more into like wood, stone, metal. And if that wasn't enough, I intended to use trim sheets to make those materials uniform. So like an example I can give is like, so like I'll just show you the UV or the image thing. So like you can see, this is just one texture, right? One came here from your YouTube stream. Hey, it's me, your Russian sub. Hey, what's good? What's good? Oh yeah, by the way, my Twitch is like fucked. So like it's like you can chat like whatever. I don't know why it's a black screen, to be honest. Like I have no idea. But I'll figure it out for next stream. Man, these default emojis are fucking creepy. I'm not gonna use that. Like, I'll just do a smiley face. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like a Twitch guy, so like I don't know what those emojis are. But yeah, like I was saying, this wall right here, this is just one uniform texture, and it's decent, but with trim sheets you get a little bit more detail out of it, so you can kind of see like how I did these UVs. And you know, I learned recently they don't always have to stick like within the confines of the texture, but where's that pillar? This pillar piece. It's like this as well. Like this was, yeah, it's horrible. The idea being like these trim sheets give you so much more. Let me just mess with the lighting for a bit. Just make it a little bit more. Go it up to like 1 or something, and then rotate the light. You can kind of see like, yeah, that looks good. But yeah, like what I'm saying is like with trim sheets you get a little bit more detail in the models, and you know there's just more variety to look at, so it looks better than just like a flat texture. And yeah, I know I keep bouncing back and forth between everything, but I'll give you a decent example here. Where's AK? So I'll take Astronite. I will make him run on the path of enlightenment. No. I'll reset this. So yeah, look, if you look at these, like these pillars I did before, so again, I'll just grab that. So you can see, this is just a uniform texture. It's one texture, right? But if you look at the same pillar, which is, let me just drop down into here and show you. Yeah, my guy's like fucking 6 foot tall, man. This is weird, but like, I'm gonna fucking make this guy back to, what was he, like 0.8 before? Yeah, that feels a lot more dungeony, I guess. But yeah, like I was saying, if you take the same model, like those pillars, and you use a trim sheet, you get a little bit more variety in the model. It just looks better in my opinion. But yeah, I kind of messed up a lot of the lighting here, so I'm just gonna just delete that, and I'll change the sun. I'll just reduce that back to 0.28. So yeah, anyway, like the idea being that like when, you know, my character runs through, I want to see the little lamp in front of him lighting up the area. And last but not least, I made a little pixel filter because, well, just for fun. It just, you know, it's just just to change something up, right? But yeah, one thing I can explain. Excuse me. Oh, let me grab the different this rig. So this guy is all the way out here, so I'm just gonna rush to my little demo area. Yeah, so like if what was I gonna say? Yeah, with this pixel filter, it's kind of weird, right? But like, oh, and I remember. Sorry, I remember what I was gonna say. So here is a really good example of why I like this pixel filter. So disabled, like let's just look at this model here, right? It's decent, but with the pixel filter, look at this. Oh man, you get this like banding, you get these like, it catches the shadows different. It just looks so fucking sick. Like I'm a big fan of like this pixelated filter. It's got nothing to do with the models. It just has to do with, you know, how I wanted to break up the, you know, the look of it, right? It just, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, if you're wondering why these textures are so shiny and like weird looking like that, it's because I'll just show you real quick. I'm doing actually 3 different maps for the, I'll just go to image. I'm doing 3 different maps for each, yeah, for, how am I explaining this? One is the color map, right? It's a certain color, or it should be. The other one's the roughness, so like how shiny it is. And then the last one's the bump, so when I combine them all together, you get these kind of, or let me go back to that camera. When I combine them all together, you get this really cool effect where the light reacts to the lighting, and at certain times you can kind of see the bump detail. There's a better example. So, like, I guess that's a decent example. You can kind of see those bumps. Like I had a fence in here somewhere. Yeah. Again, I'm still working on the texturing, and it shouldn't look like this. This is just a holdover from some other stuff I was doing, but yeah, it's a really powerful technique. I'm like actually really excited to continue working with this odd texture style. But yeah, what else? Like, yeah, this is my Astronite running, and again, if I put the pixel filter on, it just looks better in my opinion. But I'm also trying to convey like the way the shadows, like, yeah, that's kind of like what I'm saying. Yeah, it's it's kind of hard to explain. Like I know I'm kind of demoing it and trying to explain it, but essentially I feel like it brings out the details in your in the models. And before I go on break, I'll give you a good example of what I'm talking about. I hope it doesn't crash. I hope this doesn't crash. Okay, I'm good. So, like I said before, this is supposed to be like my 3D dungeon pack, my second asset pack. Well, in my first one, which was nature themed, these were all just emissive textures. Like these had nothing to do with bump mapping, nothing to do with the shiny roughness textures. These were all just, I could show it like a better. No, I guess the water doesn't really flow if I do it. Yeah, anyway, so like this was the first pack I did, I learned quite a bit, and there's like a whole bunch of it wasn't modular. It was just a bunch of, mushrooms, flowers, rocks, grass, shrubs, stumps, logs. There were some and trees right here. But yeah, so like this is a relatively new technique I picked up on, because these were just a single map, right? Actually, not just a single map. This was this is where I learned to do what's called an atlas texture. So like these mushrooms all use one texture. Like, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like, it's instead of like this. So like instead of, like a bunch of separate textures for every object, I did what's called an atlas. So 9 different images for 9 different objects. So, but yeah, the dungeon stuff is a lot more in-depth, involved, and there's a lot more going on in these textures. And now I'm trying to learn how to, how to do trim sheets. And so yeah, in case you were wondering, which I imagine you weren't, like the single textures were 128 by 128, and the texture atlas, or the trim sheet I'm working on, is 256 by 256. So that's probably also why there's a little bit more detail in the modeling, or in the textures. But yeah, fun stuff. Like, honestly, like, this stuff is a lot to it's a big mental strain, I guess. Like, a lot of thinking, a lot of trial and error. But honestly speaking, like, I couldn't be more happy with getting into this stuff, because like this is just fun to me. You know what I mean? Like, I've always wanted to kind of make like maybe not a dungeon. I'm like a sci-fi guy, right? But like, I feel like this really teaches me something important when it comes to like, 3D modeling and all that good stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna take a quick 10-15 minute break. I've been like rambling for like a fucking hour. Like a crazy man. But yeah, I'm gonna take a 10-15 minute break, and I'll probably be back at it, or yeah, especially if you're on Twitch, it's just a black screen, and this guy's just like fucking talking non-stop about like all this weird shit that like nobody fucking cares about or understands. But no, it's dope. Like, I honestly, I fucking love this project. It's taught me so much, and I've really pushed myself to fucking learn. You know what I mean? It's like, anyway, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna keep talking if I don't. So I'll be back in like 10-15 minutes. Did I close the Skyrim thing? No, I didn't. I was playing some ambience in the background, so I'm gonna pause that. And I'll be back in 10-15 minutes, starting now, so enjoy. Oh yeah, the pixel. Yeah. Oh, okay. All good. But yeah, I'll be back. Hey, it's me again. I'm back. So let's continue with this weird project of mine. I don't know if I should keep this ambience or whatever. It's chilling. I like it. It's really chilling. I'm just gonna keep it. But yeah, let's just continue with what I was doing. If I remember what I was doing. All right, let's just continue, I guess, working on those. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was like, I was gonna take, where was it? Yeah, I'm gonna take this rail and then this one. I'm clicking on this one and not this one. Yeah, these two. I'm just gonna take these two and then try and do the same thing I was doing. Cause I kind of like it like this. It's actually really chilling. Like all the modeling, not all, but a huge chunk of the modeling is kind of done. So now it's like just make sure they fit and make sure they're. Oh, excuse me. You know, make sure they're fit. Make sure they're fit. Make sure they fit. And properly scaled and all should be good. So let's I might as well just eyeball this one. We'll just scale it down to about. Right, okay, so let me take. I'll just separate these. So, how do I want to do this? I think I have an idea. I'll do it on the edge again. Oh, no, that's not the edge. Something like this. So I'll bring it to the grid. I'll line it up. Oh yeah, okay, so now let's see. So I want this edge to line up with the floor, and I want this edge to line up with the floor. So pretty simple. We have our origin point here. We'll set the scaling point to origin. And now I'm just gonna scale it down until it fits. But now I gotta think. Hold on, I gotta think for a second. I think I have to cut this section here, just like the other pieces, right? Like, we have that one stem piece and then it cuts. So I'll have to do something like this. Let's just see. I think I'll cut here then. Okay. So again, I'll just take a piece of floor, my template floor, and then I'll do. So what should it look like? So I'm guessing this corner maybe has to line up with this edge here, and this edge lines up with this major line. So in case you're wondering what is the major line I'm talking, like, so these thicker straight lines I call major, and these little in-betweens I call minor. So I'm gonna line this model up with the major line here. Something like that I think would work. Oh, it's just tested. I mean, may as well. So I go X-ray mode and wireframe, and the reason I do that is because if I don't, like, let's say I grab this face, or I just go into face mode. It looks like I got it, but I only got a side of it, and that's why I turn on wireframe and X-ray. So when I grab it, it grabs the whole thing. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into like a weird tutorial thing, but let's just continue. Let's see what we gotta do here. I'm gonna change this background color to something else. Maybe, yeah, like just so it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. Right, so I gotta think here. How am I gonna model this, or how am I gonna? What am I gonna do? Well, I'll just figure it out. We'll just play around with it and see what happens. So I delete these pieces. I delete these pieces. And then, I don't know, just cut, oh, okay, that's the wrong thing to do. That's even more wrong to do, so. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, so let me undo this. Probably not the best idea with how I was doing it. Okay, so just go one by one here. So let's get rid of this. And get rid of these. Oh, I was gonna ask, did you move over to Twitch because you were saying your YouTube was slow? Oh, that's kind of interesting. I guess you're watching on YouTube but commenting on Twitch. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm guessing. So now I should be able to get, yeah, there we go. Okay, so, well, again, I gotta, yeah, very nitpicky about extra vertices and geometry that shouldn't be there. Yeah, now it looks good. So let's take these, and what do we do with them? I guess line them up to that major line, I guess. I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, how am I gonna make this like the other ones? Maybe something like that. So if we snap it, Okay, so what I'll do is maybe these need to stretch out more. Like to there. So now if it snaps, it should work. Or, I think I did it. I think I did it. Or, wait, I can't get too carried away here. Because it's bleeding into the next tile, and I don't want it to do that, so... Let me take 2 of these, 1 of that. And so, again, yeah, we're on individual origin, so I'm just gonna scale this to line up with that major line, so... Something like this. Okay, yeah, and then we'll align it to the grid. So I'll just bring that up. Yeah, something like that. Okay, it should work now. And it does not work now. So why doesn't it work? Like it works this way, but that's not how I wanted to line up. So now I gotta think. Okay, let me bring that here and then. Oh, I knew this was gonna be a little bit tricky here, but. Okay, let me just back it up for a little bit. So I need to look at the original model, how it was laid out. Well, I might as well just go even further back. Okay. So I'm gonna take these 2 pieces again. And now I gotta think, how can I make it so when this piece, right? Like, let's just look at this bottom piece. When this bottom piece comes here, it should line up perfectly, so how am I gonna do this? So maybe by scaling it up. Right, you see, like, I'm taking this piece and I'm lining it up to that edge. So I have a feeling if I do it this way, maybe it works. Go to these two modes again. Just delete everything. Or not. Oh man, okay. Okay, that much I know I want to get rid of, so... Okay, well, let's go with what I know and what I don't know. So what I do know is that if I bring it here, so that's, yeah, it lines up, okay. So if I bring this to here, right, now if I duplicate it out, that doesn't really line up, right? There's like that overlap, that weird overlap, so I know I have to get rid of this piece. Like this, right? I need to get rid of this and this and whatever's left over from it. What is this thing? Let's go away. Okay, so I know it has to be something like this, and I know when I connect it, it has to be like that. Okay. So what if I scaled it down, or go with bounding box? Or, oh, okay, I have an idea. We'll put our origin with a 3D cursor, so now when I scale it goes to the 3D cursor. So I'll take both of them, and so like this won't move, like this will not be touched, but I'm gonna drag this part back to here. Like that. Okay, now let's test it. So if I bring this over, I mean, it sort of works. It sort of works, but part of me's not happy. Like, it works. Like don't get me wrong. Like, let's just, let's get ahead of ourselves here. But if I move this, okay, that's on a different part. So if I zoomed out, I snapped a grid like that. And then let's just say I took this piece, oh crap, took this piece, I rotated it 90, or it's rotated 180, it's still on the grid, or it's not rotated like that. You get what I mean? Like it kind of looks like it snaps, maybe not, maybe it doesn't, but yeah. something like this. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. Let's try a different color so it's not so bland. Oh yeah, green looks good. Yeah, green on black is a good way to check this. So here's my problem. This little bit of overlap is kind of bugging me. So I'm gonna have to fix this. So I'll take two of these again, and then I'll cursor to that. So maybe if I take this edge and line it up here, it should work. Like that. And yeah, it's snap to grid. Okay, it's sunk in, whatever. But no. Now there's a gap. Why is there a gap? So let's do a little bit of more thinking. Yeah, this is what I mean by like, this stuff is kind of mentally draining because it's cool. Like I enjoy this work, but it does take a toll on me after a while. And you can probably hear it in my voice. Like I get more and more, or less and less enthusiastic. So let's just count from here. That's about 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 4 squares, okay. So it should be something like that, maybe. Yes, so let's just see. No, that's not what I want. Oh, what fun is this? Okay, so I know that piece has to go. So what is the issue here? Well, first of all, the issue is like this wasn't even on the grid, so that's probably the first problem. Okay, now let's try and snap. No. Okay, so there's this gap here. Why is there a gap? I just have a hunch that maybe this needs to be scaled down a little bit more. So when I do snap, okay, no, the gap's just bigger now. It's the wrong mentality. It was the wrong idea. Yeah, this is a weird puzzle to me. I don't know why. Like it almost lines up. Like I'm trying to make it so that it works. But it's not working. Okay, I think this one's gonna give me a lot more trouble than I was expecting. So I'm just gonna throw that over here. And we'll move on. We'll move on to a different. We'll move on to this piece. Let's see. Bring that over here. I'm gonna snap it to here. Okay, and now, if I'm thinking of it right, so this end piece needs to go. So let's scale it down. Like that, okay. And now I know that, yeah, it's, if I, yeah, like that overlaps, so I'm gonna have to, oh, so I will, I think I have to delete these parts. Okay, and then I'll cut this back. Are they lined up? No. Well, maybe. Well, I know what I'll do. I'll line them up to the... I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. I feel like I keep saying, I know what I'll do, I know what I'll do. It's like, no, you don't know what you're doing. Ah, okay, so... I snap this. Now I bring it... No, so I think these need to be... Okay. Oh, let me change the color again. This is kind of hard to see. I'll go back to that white. And I'll make it... Yeah, gray works for me. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the little pieces first. Take these. There, and lined up. We'll take this. We'll line that up too. Now this has that overhang, so I have a feeling it's not gonna work. No. So that overhang is about 1 unit. So, oh, actually I have an idea, so I'll just drag it out. It's lined up. Now I can just take this part back. Oh, I don't understand why it's not like... There's something going on here. Why are my pixels not lined up? Okay, anyway, instead of worrying so much about this, let me just... Aha, that's why. Okay, we're on the grid. I'm gonna drag this. So that origin point is still on the grid. These look fine, the little ones. So now let's take this big one. We'll go X-ray mode. And we'll bring that back. And yeah, just like I suspected, there must be some sort of misalignment going on here. That snaps, that snaps. Yeah, there's a... Well, that's interesting to know. I didn't realize that my models were so not in line. Okay, I know how to fix this. We'll go to vertex snap. I'll snap this one on the Z. Oh, I have to turn on X-ray. I'll snap these ones to line up with that. Snap these ones to line up with that. And I will take these ones and I will line them up with that. Okay, this should work. Oh, fuck. Turned off my grid. Okay, this should... Third time's a charm. Did it work? I would say that looks decent. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of I just kind of don't like how it did. Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? What if I made an end piece like this? Like this. Just separate that out. And if I put it out to the end of here. Yeah, that still doesn't look right. So... so what? So I'll take this. Oh, I'll have to duplicate this. So what I'm gonna do is try and get this piece lengthened. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be kind of tricky, but I have an idea here. So, just to walk you through before I do it all weird, so these are gonna be pushed out, but they're gonna be lined up with this point. So, no, that's completely wrong. I'm just completely wrong. Or wait, where was that, this end piece I made? Snap that back to grid. And it almost works. Almost. Okay, yeah, I'm at a loss on this one too. Yeah, these are a lot more different than I was expecting. Could also be, you know, exhaustion. You know, I've been at this 3 hours now, so that's fun. Has it really been 3 hours? Holy shit. Okay, I am not gonna fight this too much. Okay, I'm just gonna, like, it works. Like for the most part, it works, right? It connects. It's modular. It's just these end pieces that's bugging me. But it's progress. It's a good. It's a step in the right direction. So where is Astronite? Let's take this short man. And I have to take him off his path for a second. Let me see with the 2D path. Do I still have that? Oh yeah. Oh, I would turn off that. Oh yeah, that's cool. That was oh, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, like, he's kind of running through this. Oh, it's the sun that needs to be fixed too. I'll just go to that sun real quick. Whoa. Maybe rotate it, like something like that. Nah, it still looks whatever. Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it how it was before. Anyway. I was gonna say, I'm gonna grab Astronite here, and he's gone. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna take him off his path, put him over here. Alright. Yeah, Dark Brother. I'm not gonna stream much longer, but we're gonna end the streams. We'll go to like 4 more minutes. I'll continue it, you know, probably, you know, next stream, probably tomorrow or something. But I gotta say, like, this little template stuff has really changed my perspective on this module thing. Like, just to be real with you, like before, all this stuff is starting to weigh me down. I'm like, okay, like, I have no idea who I'm even doing much. And like before, I was like, I have no idea if this even makes sense, right? Like, stuff. excited to work on this project. That's kind of what I'm like. I'm rambling too much. Let me just say I'm excited to continue working on this now that I have proper proportions and dimensions. Right now, it feels more like a modular kit and less like a kit of models. Okay, like I'm going nowhere with this. But yeah, that should do it for me. I think, I think I'm gonna call it quits here. Like, yeah, this pixel shader, like, again, like, I just love this shit, man. Without it, it's alright. With it, yeah, I don't know, just normal stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna cut the stream here. I'll probably play the little audio bumper. Let me just drop that down. Well, now I feel stupid. I was just rambling, and all you could hear was this like fucking waterfall. But oh man, whatever. If you're wondering what the fuck I was talking about, it wasn't really important. I was just saying I'm happy that this is starting to feel more like a Lego kid as opposed to a kid of just random models. So anyway, I'm gonna cut the stream here. I'm gonna play the little streaming bumper, a little video thing for a couple minutes, maybe play some of those tunes, and then yeah, I'm gonna call it quits, and I'm gonna I'll continue a stream next time, and this is it. This is it. Now I can just build out a little demo area, and you never know. I don't know. Maybe I'll fuck around with Godot or something. Like a 3D engine or a game engine, and like I'll make this like proper. But yeah, my scales are all fucked up. Like with this character. Maybe I'll put him back to 6 foot tall. That made sense. I just put him back to 1.8. Yeah, so that feels a little bit. Yeah, it feels weird. I don't know. I don't care at this point. I don't really care about the FPS camera. I just yeah, it's not that important. I kind of feel like a giant though, so maybe I'll have to adjust the scaling again of some of these things, but I'll worry about that later. Oh man. Excuse me. I was gonna test that door. Like, one last thing I was gonna do before ending this was I was just gonna test how these doors look. So like if I put it where that wall is. So yeah, that door's quite big compared to that wall, so it'd be like probably something like that. I don't know. I'm just eyeballing it at this point, but I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It kind of fits the theme of the thing I'm working on here. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm done. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for listening to the rambles of a very exhausted madman who's trying to do something way out of his league, but it's getting there. You know what I mean? Like I'm just pushing myself to get these models done, and to no, I'm not there's no deadline to this. I'm not like stressed out or anything. Like honestly speaking, like this is how I like unwind, you know what I mean? Like this is just fun stuff to me. It's something new, something different I'm learning, and just something that I feel like the more little bit of progress I make, the little bit more it becomes I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a hobby of mine, right? I enjoy what I'm doing, so hopefully I can continue to enjoy this hobby, and if it ever stops being fun, then I'll just take a break and go back into music or something. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling because I know myself. I won't shut up. So yeah, thanks for everything. I really appreciate it, and it's nice to meet new people like that. I hope. Yeah, I don't know. I hope to see you guys next stream, or I don't know. Yeah, at this point my brain is fried. It's been like 3.5 hours of doing this, so I'm out. Thanks. Have a good one. Peace.